Well, this is like meditating.
TMNT, the original movie, was such a special thing back in the day. At the time, I didn't know it was a comic book. I knew it from the animated TV show. But when this movie came out, I remember everyone in my class was jazzed up to go and watch it. I remember loving it in the theater and the subsequent rewatches on my VHS. But does it hold up after all these years? Let's find out. I'm Meffistoe. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel because this is my review of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Cowabunga.
Huh?
Cowabunga!
Back at the end of the 80s and the start of the 90s, there was no significant use of CGI as we know it today. So if you're making a movie about 4 mutant turtles that can fight, you need to have turtle suits and put people in them. The turtle suits were designed by the Jim Henson Company, one of the last projects that Jim was actually overseeing before he died. This attention to detail and the sacrifice of having to fight and act in these suits made the turtles come to life. But of course, I digress.
I think he's blushing.
I am not.
I think he's actually turning red.
The movie begins with a news report about the condition of the city and how there's a wave of crime. The report is done by an investigative reporter named April O'Neil, who gets attacked one night after leaving the news station. She was helped by a mysterious hero, or heroes that she never sees. All she knows that in the battle, one of the mysterious heroes lost a weapon. Back in the sewers, the turtles go back home telling Splinter of their first triumph. But Raphael is upset. He lost one of his sais. He doesn't even stay for the pizza and he goes off to watch a movie. Speaking of pizza,
Wise man say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
as Raph comes out of the theater, he chases off a couple of criminals, but instead of dispatching them quickly, he runs into Casey Jones, another kind of vigilante.
A Jose Canseco bat? Tell me, you didn't pay money for this.
Meanwhile, April's boss is begging her to drop her story about the police incompetence with the current crime wave, as he's dealing with his own son, Danny, not doing well at all. April gets attacked again, but this time by the Foot Clan, and gets saved by Raph since he kept tabs on her to get his sai back. He carries her back to the turtle home, and she gets a rude awakening and an introduction to the crew.
I'm not dreaming, am I?
No, I'm afraid not.
To calm her down, Splinter tells her the story of the turtles and their origins. But after the turtles walk April safely back to her home, they come back to discover that Splinter was taken. At the Foot Clan headquarters, we are introduced to Shredder. But before that, we see how the Foot recruits young boys and supplies them with basically homes. And they're training them to be foot soldiers. These trained soldiers wreak havoc around the city like the Yakuza back home. At April's place, Leonardo and Raphael get into an argument about what they should do about finding Splinter. Raphael, the hothead, goes out to clear his head and gets attacked by foot soldiers. After a brutal beatdown, the rest of the turtles get attacked and barely make it out with a little help from Casey Jones himself.
Oh, who is the babe?
Who the heck is that? Wayne Gretzky? On steroids?
The gang find refuge at April O'Neil's cabin outside of town and try to regroup. With a little help of Leonardo, Raphael makes a recovery, and the team finds solace in meditation that communicates with Splinter and resume their training. They set up a trap for the Foot Clan using Danny, and the final showdown between the Turtles and the clan begins, culminating in them facing the Shredder.
The Shredder.
The Shredder?
Maybe all that hardware's for making coleslaw.
This movie is so special, not because it's an animated series coming to life or a comic book adaptation. It is in the recreation and capturing the essence of the Turtles. Each hero with his own unique attributes and style, each with his own unique voice, and conveying that through the mask and through the costume. Can you see the cracks in the heavy suits? Sure, but that doesn't matter. The comedy carries it through. And to be fair, the action isn't that bad at all.
Big trouble, okay?
I can let you know.
That'll do. And the clock's ticking, dude.
I mentioned comedy, and it is riddled throughout the movie. Almost every main character has a little bit of funny quips and puns to lighten up the mood. After all, this is a movie created for teens. But the humor isn't just for kids, the adults can enjoy it as well. The best example for this is the first interaction between Casey Jones and Raphael.
Cricket? Nobody understands cricket. You gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket.
In these lighthearted moments, combined with the seriousness of Splinter and how he prepares the turtles and how he sees their future, is what makes the movie interesting and compelling beyond the fact that this is an animated series coming to life.
Boy, we missed you. It's a Kodak moment.
The story is complex and touches upon relationships between fathers and sons. On the one hand, there's Splinter, wise and all-knowing. He's aware of his own teenage children's various behaviors, and he tries his best to teach them and guide them. And on the other hand, you see April's boss, who loses grips of Danny, his son, to the Foot Clan because Danny feels like a reject of society. It takes Splinter and his teaching to touch the heart of Danny and make him see his errors and to make him see the truth about his own dad, and then finally coming back to him.
Why?
All fathers care for their sons.
The father-son connections in this movie transcends the animated series, which is aimed for young children. It elevates the story to a level where young teens can comprehend and understand, and it makes the entire story more special and have heart in the movie that actually has green rubber suit actors fighting hooded ninjas in the streets of New York.
And stop! Perfect! You're a natural, sis!
I love the attention to detail in this movie and the nod to the comic books and the animated series. No, there's no turtle van as we know it, but you see Donatello and Casey Jones working on one that the guys are driving back to New York later. April isn't wearing her traditional yellow jumpsuit, but at the start of the movie, when she just gets attacked for the very first time, she is wearing a yellow coat. The movie respects the origins, but realizes that this is a different medium and some things are not done because the filmmakers didn't want to slide into the campy and absurd. A solid adaptation of TMNT franchise into live action movie. It has heart, it's got action and comedy. And to me, it was a great continuation of the animated series I watched, and it captured the fun of these turtles. I will recommend this movie for kids, teens, and adults because the later CGI iterations of TMNT are a pale comparison.
Any thoughts?
I've only got one thought. This guy knows where Splinter is.
I thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this review, smash that like button to help me out and beat that algorithm. Check out other reviews that I've done in the past, or check out our live Saturday show where we cover all sorts of amazing movies. And remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I'll see you on the next video.